Hi, I'm Bridget and welcome back to day 8 of 30 days of 10-minute yoga. And today we're going to be working on expanding. So we're going to get started in our yogi squat today. So it can be helpful to come into your yogi squat from a forward fold. So we'll come into our forward fold first. So bringing the feet about hip width distance apart, we're going to hinge at the hips and just fold the upper body over the legs. You can give the knees a nice generous bend here. Maybe give the head a shake, go for a little sway from side to side as we begin to connect with the breath. So breathing really nice and deeply here. Sending the breath to the backs of the legs. You should feel a nice stretch through the backs of the legs. Pressing down into all four corners of the feet. And while you're here in your forward fold, you might like to take a little bit more opening through the shoulders. So if you would like to do that, we'll just interlace the hands at the base of the spine behind us and then reach the hands up and over, pressing you down into your forward fold. Give those knees a nice generous bend so you don't need to straighten through the legs here. Drawing the hands down towards the floor. We stay with the breath. And then when you're ready, we'll release the hands, bring them back down to the mat, and we'll make our way into our yogi squat. So we're going to turn the feet out at about a 45-degree angle. You might need to walk them a little bit wider. Then we're just going to slowly start to sink the hips down into our squat. If you've got a little bit of space underneath the heels, that's okay. Just stay in your squat. If you have some blocks or something that you can support underneath those heels, that can be a really nice option as well. We're going to bring the elbows to the inner parts of the knees, bring the palms together at heart space and get nice and long through the spine. So imagining a nice long line from the top of the head right down to the tailbone. So rather than rounding forward here, we're going to stay nice and long through the spine. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. You might like to close down the eyes for a moment here. Coming back to those nice, long, deep breaths. Breathing deeply. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way back into our forward fold. So you can plant the palms from here and then start to press to lift the hips back up. You might like to walk the feet back underneath the hips a little bit. Come back to that forward fold, send the breath to the backs of the legs. Give the head a little shake. And then when you're ready, we're going to find our wide-legged forward fold. So we're just going to heel toe the feet out to a little bit wider. You can turn the toes out just slightly and find your wide-legged forward fold. So again, see if you can flatten out through the spine a little bit here and then sink the chest down towards your mat. Breathing into the inner legs. Relaxing through the head, so give it another little shake here. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the hands to the hips, power up through the core, power up through the legs. Make sure you've got a nice little micro bend through the knees, so we're not locking the knees here. We're powering up through the core, and we're going to press to lift the upper body back up to standing. From here, you'll need to turn your toes out a little bit wider. You might even like to walk them back in a little bit. We're going to find our goddess pose. So you'll just need to adjust the feet to wherever feels comfortable. I sometimes find that the closer in my feet are, the easier this one feels. But if you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, then you can walk the feet a little bit wider. So from here, we're just going to sink the hips down. So turn those feet out. We're pressing those knees open as we sink the hips down. Send the arms out long to either side. Finding expansion, space in the body. Stay with the breath. Sink the hips a little bit lower. And then when you're ready, we'll reach the hands up towards the sky. We're going to start lifting the heels. So inhale, we'll lift the right heel. Exhale to lower. Inhale, we lift the left heel. Exhale to lower. Inhale to the right side. Keeping it moving with the breath. Really pressing those heels away from the mat. See if you can keep those hips sinking down. It can become a little bit hard as you're moving those heels, but every now and then check in, sink those hips a little bit deeper. And we'll take one more on either side. And then bring the hands back down to the hips. We'll straighten back out through the legs and come back to that forward fold. So maybe walking the feet a little bit wider. On an exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. So try and stay nice and flat through the spine for as long as you can. We come back to our forward fold. Reconnect with the breath for a moment. Shake the head out. And then from here, we're going to find our Skandasana. So you'll have to adjust the feet a little bit here as well. So on an inhale, let's come up to our halfway lift. So straightening through the arms, hinge from the hips, we flatten out through the spine. We're going to turn the toes out at least a 45-degree angle. So the toes aren't pointing forward. Now we've got them out on a little bit of an angle. On an exhale, this is where you might need to adjust the feet. We're going to bend into that right knee and lift those left toes up towards the sky. We find our Skandasana. So just take a moment to get there. And when you do, you might just like to bring the palms together at the heart. Press that right knee open. Find that length through the spine. And again, you might notice that you've got a little bit of space underneath that right heel. Again, if you've got something nearby that you'd like to just put under there for support, then you can do that now. Otherwise, we're just drawing that heel down towards our mat. Find the breath. And then before we move it to the other side, we're going to plant our right palm. Inhale up and over with the left hand. Looking to the side, opening through side body. Nice stretch through the legs and the hips. And then we'll make our way back to center. So plant both palms. We're going to press into that right knee, make our way back to center to our halfway lift in that wide-legged forward fold. On an exhale, we're going to bend into the left knee this time. Start to lift those right toes up towards the sky. Find your Skandasana on this side. Again, maybe bring the palms together at the heart. Find the breath here. Nice and active through the legs. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll find that side body stretch. So we'll plant the left palm this time. Inhale, reaching up and over with the right hand. Breathing deeply here. Nice and aware through the shoulders and the neck. And then bringing the palms back to our mat, we'll come back to center. We're going to move 2 times to either side, moving with the breath. So on your next exhale, let's bend into the right knee. Lift those left toes up. Inhale, we come back up to center, and exhale, bend into the left knee. One more on either side. Inhale, we come back up to center, and exhale, bend into the right knee. Inhale to center, exhale, we bend into the left knee. And inhale, we come back to center. This time we're going to heel toe those feet back in a little bit closer. Turn the toes out like we did at the beginning of this class, and then sink the hips back down, and we find our yogi squat again. So pressing the elbows into the knees, palms come together at the heart. Close down the eyes and just check in with how you feel here. Noticing how you feel through the body, checking in with the mind. Focusing on the breath. And before we close our practice, we'll take another side body stretch from our yogi squat. So just gently blinking the eyes open, we're going to plant the right palm down in the center. Inhale, we're going to reach up and over with the left arm. We're going to use that right elbow, right shoulder to press that right knee open. Reaching up and over, maybe looking up if it feels okay through the head and the neck. And then exhale that left hand back down. We plant it in the center and inhale that right hand up and over, taking it to the other side. Maybe looking up. Stay with the breath. And then exhale, we bring both our hands back to the mat and then just sink the hips all the way down to your mat, coming to a nice, comfortable seated position to close our practice today. If you'd like to build onto this practice, then you can stop the video here and just continue your practice. Otherwise, we'll close our practice here in seated. So closing down the eyes, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Find the breath again. Just enjoying this moment of stillness that you've taken for yourself. Letting yourself become really present in this moment. Letting go of anything that came before this practice. And letting go of anything that you've got coming after. And we'll close our practice by taking one last nice deep breath together. So we'll inhale the hands up and overhead, bringing the palms together. Exhale, we bring the hands together at heart space and bow through the head. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.